Alright, y'all. So I wanted to do a video game vlog, but I want to focus it on. I know I need to cover some stuff, but I'll cover those things next week. I definitely want to talk about post trauma. Oh my god, it's so good. But we'll cover the things next week. I wanted to cover this today because yesterday I watched five separate people review Welcome to Raccoon City, the new Resident Evil movie, and none of them were good. So, alright, let me just begin by saying I haven't watched this movie yet. So, this is kind of for me like a pre-review, kind of a review of other reviews, but I haven't seen it yet. My policy is I don't intend to see this until it goes legit on a streaming service because we're still in a fucking pandemic. They just found like it's dropping a fucking hot ass soundtrack, new fucking variant, and I'm just like, this why my dumb ass ain't going to the fucking movies for shit, because there's too many gross motherfuckers out here coughing and wheezing all stupid, and I'm not trying to be one of the fools out there coughing and wheezing, even though I am vaccinated, although I have to get my booster on Sunday. So, neither here nor there, but we're still in a pandemic. I already never liked going to the movies. It's just something about sitting in a cold, dark room full of strangers eating overpriced, gross ass popcorn with basically motor oil. I don't know what the fuck that shit is that they try to pass off as butter, but it's probably something that'll like fix a carburetor in a fucking car. It's gross. I don't have time to be, and this was before the pandemic. I really never like going to the movies. I'll be damned if I'm going to the movies now. And I told my husband already, I'm like, homeboy, you got a good 5 to 8 years before I step foot in another movie theater. If I ever step foot in another movie theater ever again. So that's one thing. If the pandemic kills that industry, I don't care. I will be glad to see it go. I'm just going to be like, good. Because fuck having a movie theater. I hate going to the movies. So you got that going. Coupled with the fact that when I saw the trailers, I wasn't looking at it like, oh, this look like it's going to slap. It looked like it was like going to be like, what the fuck is going on? And pretty much those reviews that I saw yesterday were all like one dude was all, his thing pretty much said, I don't know where my life went wrong. Pretty much like, I don't know why I went to go see this. One dude was biting on the couch. Actually, a couple people were biting on the couch mad at it. And then I watched one guy who, he was calm about it, but he was mad. And then I watched Angry Joe's movie review. That was the last one I watched. Angry Joe himself wasn't biting on the couch mad, but the two other dudes were biting on the couch mad. So, from what I understand, from what I basically gather, they fucked up Leon. They fucked up everybody's characterization, but they fucked up Leon's characterization to the point where it was pretty much unwatchable. That if you are a diehard Leon Scott Kennedy fan, you are going to be, as I say, biting on the couch mad. And I don't know what to tell you because that's just what they did to y'all's homeboy. People, I guess, were once again upset that Jill was biracial. Jill, again, for just general principle, Jill in the Resident Evil series is actually biracial. She's half Japanese and half, I want to say, American or Canadian or British. It's some half English speaking person and then like some Japanese person. So Jill is biracial anyway, but I guess they don't really want to get like biracial slanting toward what Jill's biracial like makeup is. I don't fucking know, but I don't know. But like pretty much they said Jill was wasted. It was like independent of her ethnicity. Jill was pretty much wasted. She didn't really do anything. That pretty much she was just kind of hanging out and things happen. She like shoots some people and more things happen, and it's just, she was just wasted. So they fucked up, and then from what I gather, they fucked up all the characterizations. They said the only one that was kind of tolerable was Claire, but nobody ever really elaborated. It's just kind of like she starts off kind of a badass. That basically Jill and Claire were just badasses and what the fuck ever. And it was just wasted opportunities on all the characters. And like one or two people was like, the only thing I can say about Chris is he kind of looks like Chris. And I was just like, that's such a low fucking bar. Damn. So I'm just like, okay, so what I'm still thinking for me, I ain't gonna front. I'm trying to be like diplomatic about it. I'm still thinking it just might be serviceable. But everything I fucking saw, it was a hot fucking blazing train wreck of a movie. The CGI wasn't good. The characters weren't good. The writing wasn't good. Somebody said, so the first review that I saw, and I can't remember who that was. The first review I saw, they were like, everything just was kind of small scale. Like, when they first get in the mansion, which apparently is way later, way late in the story. When they first get in the mansion, it's like they had this sprawling outside, but then like the inside is just real small and subdued. He was the only one, that first one, he was the only one who had that complaint. Everybody else's review was like it was adequate. Hooray, it's adequate. They were like it looked true to the game. And oh no, here comes Raven. Oh no. Oh, here she comes blowing up the situation. But sorry, getting back. They were like, it looks like the mansion. I still say, had y'all had the presence of mind, you could have just paid some motherfuckers off and you could have had a huge foyer. Instead of like, it did look small. It looks small every time I see that image on the trailer. It might look like it, but it still looks really tiny to me. But if they really wanted to, you should have went to Linwood Hall, motherfuckers, to film that mansion part. Because that's a literal abandoned mansion that you could have used with a big sprawling fucking foyer. But Adrian Achan don't know nothing, so I don't fucking know what to tell you. So, but no, they went to some spot in Scotland or some shit. I don't fucking know. And like, I think I'm inclined to agree with the first reviewer that foyer looks small. The mansion is supposed to be a big sprawling foyer, not some like, oh, we're in this tiny little lobby. Like, okay, so. But he was the only one, literally was the only one that had that complaint. I didn't see anybody else lobbying that complaint. Everybody else said that actually looked pretty cool. From what my eyes could see on trailers and stuff, I am going to be inclined to agree with the first guy. But like the explosions weren't that great. Apparently the CG, the computer animation wasn't that good. Somebody was like, yeah, it was supposed to take place in the 90s, and these graphics look like they came straight from like 1994. I'm like, oh, well, damn. So, and something about they spent $25 million on this foray. They spent $25 million on this nonsense. It literally, opening weekend, made $5.5 million. And it's not just any opening weekend. It was fucking Thanksgiving! Oh my God! The fact that you couldn't pull more than, like, you couldn't pull, like, at least, because they said, I was reading some article that said they were hoping for 8 to 10. And that's a very small percentage. There's no return on investment for that. And they, like, apparently teased hard on a sequel. And every review I saw, they were like, they teased for a sequel. I don't want a sequel. I don't want to suffer through another one of these. Like, Jesus. It must have been really abysmal. And this is the thing. One of the people that Angry Joe was talking to about it, he said this in an article that I read online. These two people's complaints were they didn't understand who this movie was for. Now, the written article said you might get more out of it if you're a fan of Resident Evil. The other guy that was the dude on the Angry Joe situation, he was like, I don't know who this movie is for. Because if you're a fan, you're like a rabid diehard fan, especially, it's seeming like. But if you're a fan of Resident Evil, you are not gonna like this movie. It's just it's too many things wrong going on that is just gonna like hit you the wrong way. The writer was like, you might pull some joy out of it if you're a fan, but if you're just a regular old schmo off the block that came in to see a zombie movie, especially a lot of the fan service shit, which apparently went too heavy, but they were like, a lot of the fan service shit you're really not gonna get. So, and that was one of the things I was concerned about, because I was like, it's looking a little fan service heavy. It's looking like they're trying too hard to pull in the Resident Evil community, and they're not doing enough to like pull in basically some asshole off the block. I don't know where that balance is, but from what I understand, this doesn't really have anything for anyone. Like, every person that I watched the review for, they have been with the series at least for a while, at least probably since Resident Evil 4. And they're like, this ain't it. This ain't it. So, and somebody made the statement about the itchy tasty thing. They were like, it was just itchy tasty smeared in blood. Now, when I talked about this a couple months ago, I was like, it makes sense that they would have itchy tasty on somebody wrote it in blood on a mirror, and I still contend with the Simpsons quote, get a pen, Sideshow Bob. But independent of that, they were like, it's just itchy tasty written in blood on a mirror. There's no, like, as a person that played the game, you know what itchy tasty is. But as somebody who just walked in off the street and never saw, played, or whatever Resident Evil, they're not going to get the itchy tasty reference. And I was like, I was kind of hoping they would give you some kind of like progression as to why that person wrote itchy tasty on a mirror in blood. Like, like I said before, I understand it's a movie. You can't have people scrolling through a diary, reading how you were some asshole playing poker. You thought some dude was cheating and called him a scumbag, to fucking itchy tasty. So I was hoping they'd show some kind of progression to make that itchy tasty reference make sense to somebody who hadn't seen or played the video games. No, apparently this weird fucking zombie just wrote this on a mirror in blood, and it was just there, like, we see you, fans. And it's just like, I know you see me. I know you do. I know you see me, but can you make it make fucking sense to somebody who doesn't know the game? And that was the problem, that it was just too much heavy-handed fan service, that if you're not a part of the group, you're gonna be like, the fuck does that mean? So, I don't know. Then something about the rocket launcher, that Leon has this dry cool wit comment. With dry cool wit like that, I could be an action hero comment. And somebody was like, and they didn't have him say game over. That's what Leon literally says when he uses the rocket launcher on Mr. X for the final time. Right over their heads. So I was just like, oh, that was the lowest hanging fruit you could possibly reach for. And you dropped the fucking ball. You had the T-ball set up and you fucking missed it by a damn mile, and that's just where we took it. I was just like, oh God, how do you not grab for the lowest hanging fruit literally possible? Even if you don't get the reference of game over, you know Resident Evil, you may have an inkling Resident Evil is from a video game. Woman that I watch frequently on YouTube, Ask a Mortician, when she was talking about hoaxes, death-related hoaxes, she talked about Resident Evil, and she's like, it has to do with bioterrorism and zombies. And she knew it was a game. So, you can't reach for that low-hanging fruit. Fine. Okay. So, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know how you drop a ball that hard. It's like some, oh my God, I'm so full of old people references, but some movie called police academy, citizens on patrol. There's a part where they're playing basketball. Dude dunks the basketball and it's like concaved into the concrete, and Bob Goldthwait is like, you killed it real smooth. That's what they did. They dunked the ball. It got crushed into some concrete, and then dude was like, you killed it real smooth. Because nobody wants a sequel. They teased a sequel apparently at the end. And everybody's like, please just, no, can we not do that? Can we just go home and pretend like none of this ever happened? Because I think I need some counseling now, because it was that bad. I need like a trauma specialist to help me through this. So I don't fucking know. But it brings me back to the George Romero script for Resident Evil. The forgotten Resident Evil movie that by this point could definitely be made and made competently. And I'm just like, the fuck? Why the fuck can we not just, as I know George Romero has passed on, but I'm sure his estate would be very happy to be like, please make this movie, because the movies that y'all coming out with, they paying people's soul on that kind of a level, and it needs to stop. So I found the Romero script and I started thumbing through it again, and like about 6 or 7 years ago, some dudes, I have it, I'll post a link to it, but some dudes read the entire Romero script for his version of what Resident Evil should be. Where the fuck was this? Because they had all the elements, and it was based on the first game, which that was another complaint, that they kind of smushed Resident Evil 1, 2, sort of 3, and a sprinkling of Code Veronica into it, and it was just like, you smushing too much shit into one thing. Just focus on one thing and do that, but focus on one thing and do that well, and then you can swing back to doing some other shit. But apparently that was too fucking much to ask. So, and they smushed like 14 different things into one fucking thing, and none of it panned out because they couldn't make a fucking commitment as to what they wanted to do. It's like, look, either you gonna commit to some shit, or you just gonna step the fuck off. Make a choice and live with that choice. But getting back to the Romero script was based solely on the first fucking game. No extra fuckery with some bimbo running around wet and naked 90% of every damn movie. No one wants to. We done seen it, Mila Jovovich or whatever the fuck your name is. We done seen it. We don't care. Can we do something fucking different at this point? Or, like, we're just gonna have some non-committal bullshit and, like, give you a bunch of fan service with no point. And it's just like, okay. So, the Romero movies just focused on Raccoon City, but Raccoon City was in Pennsylvania, but a lot of Romero stuff is in Pennsylvania, fellow Pennsylvanian. But a lot of his stuff, Raccoon City was in Pennsylvania, but it was a city. That was another weird complaint. Either you liked that or you didn't. Apparently Raccoon City was just a town that had nobody in it, which I don't fucking know. But like, they were evacuating people. They had Chris. They had Jill. They fucking had Barry in the Romero script. Granted, they took some liberties where Barry was black and Chris was indigenous. He was supposed to be half Cherokee. I'm like, okay, that's a weird liberty to take, but what the fuck ever. So, but you had Chris, you had Barry, which is always noticeably absent, and everybody's always like, what the fuck? Why don't y'all have Barry in this situation? And they had Wesker. But guess who else they had as part of the Alpha team? I think they was a commingle Alpha Bravo situation. They had Forrest, they had Richard, and they had Kenneth, and they had Rebecca and Brad. That was in that Romero script. What the fuck can't we have? Why the fuck can't we have nice things? Is it too much to ask a motherfucker to just have something fucking, like, one nice fucking thing? Apparently it's too much to ask. And it just focused on them in the mansion. They had a tyrant. Did they have a tyrant thing? I think they had a tyrant thing. But they had the hunters. I'm so fucking tired of seeing liquors and everything. Hunters, hands down for me, are always going to be scary, because if your health was too fucking low, they would jump in the air and take your head off, and your head would go rolling down the hallway, and you'd be having that awful "you died" scream. Hunters scared the shit out of me. Quick story. One time I had strep throat because I worked at a daycare and I was chronically ill because those kids were always chronically sick. So I got sick one day and had strep throat. Laying in bed watching Resident Evil, the remake. Dude was playing on mountain mode and I didn't realize it, and we get to the part with the hunters. You know when you come in that first door, that Wesker or Barry or whoever the fuck, it was Barry because he was playing the person Louis Chu was playing as Jill at the time. And that hallway where you see that hunter on the first floor, I was sick as a dog, did not realize that motherfucker on hard mode would jump down. That motherfucking hunter jumped down. Wah! I'm screaming. I screamed. I was like, ah! Throat wanted to implode. And I was just like, had a fever watching this. Screaming with strep throat. It was horrible. It was horrible. Did I stop watching now? No, I did not stop watching the game. Continued. They had hunters. Why the fuck can't we have nice things? Why the fuck can't you just get this fucking Romero script done? All the Resident Evil, I mean, you're still going to have fans that are going to be like, Barry shouldn't be black, Chris shouldn't be some kind of indigenous situation, and what the fuck ever. But I'm okay with little random liberties like that. I'm not okay with dumb shit where basically Lisa Trevor is hanging out playing checkers or fucking tiddlywinks or what the fuck ever with Lisa Trevor for no real ass reason. And it has no payoff. They don't explain apparently who Lisa Trevor is. Lisa Trevor is one of the most sad, like, what the fuck characters in Resident Evil. No payoff there. It's like, then why throw her in it if you're not going to elaborate on it? I will watch this. When it goes to whatever fucking streaming service, I will watch it. It ain't make no money, by the way. So it might be going on stream sooner rather than later. And on Twitter, I was like, maybe if you had not dicked around and found out, basically, if you hadn't dicked around and just put it both on stream and in the movies, you might have had a little bit of a return on an investment. But, we're just going to throw our eggs into the theater basket. Yeah, how'd that fucking work out for you? Because 5.5 million when you spent 25 million, which I'm not seeing from the clips that I seen in the way people was talking. I'm not seeing where that 25 million went. I think somebody pocketed most of it and was like, yeah, you know what the fuck you're talking about. So I don't know. I will watch it. I will watch it when it goes to a streaming service, and I will do a formal official review. But get this fucking Romero movie script done. That's the closest we are as fans for Resident Evil are ever gonna get for a competent Resident Evil movie. Yeah, it has its flaws, the Romero script, but it's the closest. Most people say this Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City is better than all of the Mila Jovovich / Anderson movies tied together and thrown into an ocean, like tied together with concrete and thrown into an ocean. It's better than all of those put together, but they said it's still a mess. It's still not good. It's still not it. And I'm just like, fucking Romero script, please. Like, the fucking Romero script, please. I mean, you have Barry. That's like the bare fucking minimum people are asking for, and you still can't do it. I don't know. I'm talking in circles, but that is all I have on this fucked up Resident Evil situation. And I feel the need to apologize, but I didn't cause any of this. I was hoping it would be serviceable, but from what I understand, it's not even that. It's just a mess. And it's just like, oh God. And if people are like, please don't do a sequel because we really don't give a fuck, then it's over. So that's all I have, and I will see y'all again next week when I cover the shit I need to cover. Alright? Later.